Our program support has been primarily through product. Our concern in terms of devoting financial dollars to it was whether or not the movement of Midnight Basketball would take on a national organization, and that's where Mr. Standifer's dream and the work of Gil and the other people has become so important for us. One of my purposes for coming here today is to see if it was for real, and this room is definitely for real. Gil and what we're looking to do now as a company is develop a way internally to support Midnight Basketball in a consistent way across the country, provided that they, meaning the cities that start up the programs, follow the rules and regulations that are being set up by the organization. That's what we're here to learn, to get a sense of the depth and the scope of the programs. That will help us then shape our own internal policies. Whether or not it will evolve to financial support really remains to be seen. I think it could very well do that. There are a couple of factors that are important for us. One is just how consistent the support for the national organization grows from coast to coast. And last time I talked to Mr. Stanford, there were 31 cities, and then I get here this morning, now there are 36 cities, and chances are by the time I get back to Portland, there'll probably be a few more. So that to me is evidence that the consistency that a Nike would look for is developing. So I think we're on our way, and I think there's one thing that's missing from the overall program is a marketing strategy, a promotional strategy. Certainly when you can associate the name of a Nike and our athletes and our resources with this kind of movement, then you create a situation that is advantageous for the Little Rock, Arkansas and places like that to get on board with you. One of the things that Nike is very good at is marketing, advertising, and sales, and the record kind of speaks for itself. I think in broadening the appeal of a Midnight Basketball, you really have to be able to associate a name athlete. A guy that naturally comes to mind is one of your guys out of Chicago, and that's Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway grew up in the projects in Chicago. What better an individual who can talk about life in the inner city than somebody who grew up that way. Now, granted, going forward, if it's the kind of thing that a Michael Jordan or a Charles Barkley wants to be associated with, I'm not going to tell him no. But we would, in wanting to develop a marketing strategy for the league, want to develop something that's effective. Scottie Pippen certainly carries a certain name recognition, but Scottie Pippen grew up in Hamburg, Arkansas. Different kind of inner city in Hamburg versus Cabrini Green in Chicago. Great. This wasn't planned, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike. One of the things I want you to keep in mind that this Midnight Basketball is not just for public housing. It's for the Hamburg, Arkansas, and so forth and so on, because they have the same type of problems and concerns all over the world. So, question about the NBA. Well, first of all, we haven't been out really asking anybody for anything. The NBA knows about us very well. We've met with Michael Jordan and Scottie, and we talked about supporting the Midnight Basketball League. We work with Charlie Grantham, who represents the president of the Players Association. Timing and all that's going to come to fruition. So we are in dialogue with them, is what I'm saying. Okay. Maybe not Nike, but some other companies, before they give you any money, before they give you any product, they want to ask you one question. What's in it for us? They're in the business of doing what? Selling their product. They got to make some money. They don't make no money, they don't want to give you any. Well, one of the things that happened in Chicago, Kentucky Fried Chicken gave us a call. Always calling us. How can we get involved with the Midnight Basketball League? And I sat down and I kind of met with them. And one of the things they were saying is that, of course, we're in the business of selling chicken. And how can you help us sell chicken? Well, one of the things that we did was we developed this coupon, and I have some of these for you to see. It's a picture of the chairman of the Chicago Housing Authority and this guy named Thomas Abbott, who won our slam dunk contest. Anyway, it's a coupon with the Midnight Basketball League logo on, announcing the All-Star game, and it's a special 2 hot spicy pieces for $1.99. I don't know if that's a bargain or not. But anyway, what we were able to do in Chicago, we had the Midnight Basketball League players distribute almost 2,000 of these and put them in every household. Because most corporations who don't spend a tremendous amount of money on advertising and so forth and so on, they have no way of actually getting this into the households. Bulk mailing and so forth and so on just don't work. Putting pamphlets on corners don't work. But when we knocked on doors and actually gave this out, there was a sizable jump in that economic graft. Kentucky Fried Chicken gave us $30,000. Our guys went out and got that $30,000. Now again, once I get the idea, it just seems to me it ought to work that way. That the job of the technicians, if you will, the legal technicians and skilled folks, is to make these ideas work. And, you know, I can't do what David Sylvester does. He does it well. He knows how to talk to you people from Nike and work out all the legal things in order for us to access those dollars. So again, you as commissioners, you as presidents of the association, or whatever title you want to give yourselves, it's up to you to inspire everything that moves. One of the reasons why I selected the title commissioner, because I know full well what the commissioner in the NBA does. I know full well what the commissioner does in the National Football League, Hockey League. I know what they do. So therefore, commissioner of the Midnight Basketball League, your job is to make sure that the program operates. Your job is to make sure that there is a program. Your job is to make sure, okay, that all the pieces, all the components come together. Of course, you can't do that all alone, all by yourself, and I understand that. But you have to be the person making sure that all that's kind of happening. Okay, Mr. Bastelli, I want to say one thing before you break.
Yeah, I want to be sure I say it before he leaves. I can't begin to tell you what life would have been like without David Sylvester. He's pro bono legal advisor to the local program, and he's also responsible for helping set up the national organization. I don't even want to think about what life would have been like without him. So would you please acknowledge him?
David Sylvester. Insurance, liability, and medical. If you are operating out of some type of agency, be it YMCA, Boys Club, public housing, what have you, most of those organizations are what we call self-insured. I know public housing is, which means that any program that public housing fosters, any program that the YMCA fosters, the participants in that program are covered with liability and medical insurance, which means if a guy turns an ankle, gets hurt, so forth and so on, that we're obligated to get that guy some emergency services. The follow-up services would be done on their own. That's how most self-insured things are. But we are in the process right now, the national office, Mr. Van Stanford and Mr. Sylvester in particular, are negotiating with American Insurance Brokers Incorporated to provide blanket coverage for the association. As City joins the National Associated Midnight Basketball League, we would like to have immediate coverage because as a national association, the liability factor, we want to make sure it's almost nil. Safety first at all times. I think that's the worst thing that can happen in any program that you're sponsoring or running for youth, is that you have somebody get hurt. But in playing the game of basketball, that goes with the territory. Normally when a company provides goods or services at a reduced rate, they want exclusive rights to the customer. We know that some of your programs have municipal coverage under your own risk management. For these groups, we like to be able to negotiate what we call a grandfather clause, if you will. How many of you are interested at this time, I think, in for us pursuing blanket coverage from a national level? Okay. Okay, the next part of this is going to be the league operations. And the format will be, we will put the information up on the overhead. Mr. Van Stanifer is going to interpret the rules as they pertain to the National Association and what he's doing in Glenarden in his program in Prince George's County. I will interject with some things that we're doing in Chicago. Once we go over those particular, his program and what we're doing here in between, we'll talk about, is there any leeway in between, maybe you're doing something a little bit different. If there's something drastically different, then we want you to talk to that. Because what we're trying to do is uniform the stuff. You may be doing something in your particular program that we should be doing on a national level. On the other hand, you may bring some up, okay, that we may have to take another look at. But the key is, and please keep this in mind, that there's a lot of flexibility, well, not a lot of flexibility, but some, because we want you to feel good or feel that your hands are not tied in order to present your program to your prospective community. But this is just how we have worked out the differences, if you will. If something is different from Glenarden than done in Chicago, that's because we kind of communicated, and he understands how our program is different. Again, we need that same type of communication from you. Then, after we go through that, what we'd like to do, and we're going to move fast kind of through this, because I think it's necessary before we break to get some input or 1 or 2 minutes, if you will, from folks who really got a really nice message to tell us about something that is unique that's happened in your particular program. We need to hear that. And if there's something negative that happened that we could benefit from, we need to hear that also. In other words, I've been up here doing most of the talking to you. We need to hear some things from you.
The next thing that we'd like to try to resolve is whether or not we're going to have a national tournament and how will that evolve. First of all, what we want to get your ideas. First of all, how many of you think that you would like to participate in a national tournament? Yeah, I was afraid of that. Okay, so we're going to have to get your input as to what's the best way to try to do it. It seems to me we have a couple of options. Number one, we can say, all right, everybody come to Chicago for 2-3 weeks, some central location. Or we can try to do like the NCAA, work up regionals.
If you're interested in working on this particular committee, and the reason why we got to go into committees, because we got to move on. And all the suggestions that I hear are very healthy suggestions, and we're all moving in the right vein. We need about 4 or 5 individuals to get together, put some type of proposal together, if you will, or what you think it should be. If you want to submit something, let's take a look at it. We send it back out to you. You can approve of it or not approve of it, and we can move on.
One of the first things you get usually in your package documentation is this order form. One of the advantages of belonging to the organization is the fact that because of the contract that we have with Dixie Sporting Goods, as the organization grows and the volume grows, the volume of people ordering jerseys and uniforms and so forth, as it goes to different levels, the cost per unit is going to go down. That cost savings, of course, will come back to you. So this is very important. What we have here is that once you join, the first thing you need to do, of course, is make a contact with Dixie Sporting Goods, because they are the exclusive right now manufacturer, because they've said that they will handle any order within 2 weeks anywhere in the country. Is that right? All right. Now, hey, now, you know, once in a while they're going to miss a couple of days, you know. If I'm not mistaken, I think one time I made a mistake, right? And then I found out, no, I hadn't made one. I thought I made one, right? But anyway, anyway, that's what the forum is all about. Dixie Sporting Goods is the only one